Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, have not made it a priority to ensure the right to vote is restricted to, or is restricted to citizens only here in our nation's capital. So another big issue that's come up recently is the issue of non-citizen voting. Yes, Virginia, aliens vote in our elections. It's easy for them to vote in federal elections because the law relies on their honor to not vote, meaning they can register to vote, they can say they're a citizen. You're not supposed to. If you do, that's a violation of law. But since we don't verify it, they can do it without fear of really ever being caught. And then once they're registered, it's easy to vote. So technically, none of that's supposed to be happening at the federal level, aliens voting, but the numbers are. Studies have shown, and reality shows, they do vote in elections. And the more aliens present in the United States, the more illegal aliens present in the United States, it's a numbers game. A certain percentage is going to register, and a certain percentage of those people are going to vote. On top of that, the left opposes any distinctions between citizens and non-citizens. Of course, the left wants illegal aliens to vote, non-citizens to vote. Every place they are able to at the local level, they get them to vote in local elections, including here in the District of Columbia, where illegal aliens and resident aliens who are ineligible to vote in federal elections are able to vote. You heard that. Illegal aliens can vote for the mayor of D.C. or the city council or these local ANC commissioners, which are basically these local elected bodies that harass businesses in their neighborhoods and private property owners. It's like having, what do they call it? When you move into a condo or a yeah, it's like having a home, an HOA with government power. Even more, it's like a supersized HOA, these ANCs. So the Russian ambassador can vote if he wants to. Chinese ambassador can vote. Maybe they can run for mayor. I don't see what the prohibition would be. And so we noticed, one of my intrepid colleagues at Judicial Watch noticed at DC was going to have a special event educating illegal aliens on how to vote. So we asked for and obtained the document. And this is the document that shows they used to educate illegal aliens on how to steal the votes of citizens, legally steal them. Non-citizen voting in the United States. Let's go to the top so I don't get lost behind. D.C. Board of Elections, Voter Education and Outreach. It gives the address. Next. Who we are, and it's the independent agency of the D.C. government, nonpartisan, and they run our elections here. Let's go next. Non-citizen voting in D.C., and this is the category of people they can vote for. Non-U.S. citizen residents of the District of Columbia can vote in local elections under the Local Resident Voting Rights Amendment Act of 2022. Non-U.S. citizen residents can vote in the district elections for the offices of mayor, attorney general, chairman or members of the D.C. Council, members of the State Board of Education. Of course, D.C. isn't a state, but they want to be a state, so they falsely call their Board of Education a State Board of Education, or advisory neighborhood commissioners. Non-U.S. citizen residents cannot vote for federal offices, so I'm glad they clarified that. Let's go to the next one. And this is all you need. This is the eligibility. This is the kicker. To register to vote in the District of Columbia as a non-citizen, you must be at least 17 years old and 18-year-olds by the next general election, maintain residency in the District of Columbia for at least 30 days prior to the election in which you intend to vote. Now, that's an interesting clause, because I read that as like every illegal alien in the country can register to vote as long as they intend to show up here for 30 days prior to the election. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, because everyone will start registering beyond the people living here currently. Not claim voting residents of the right to vote in any state, territory, or country. I mean, that's no restriction on an ambassador, right? I mean, he's a resident here. under this definition of the law, not been found by a court to be legally incompetent to vote. Well, there's that. So that's, no prohibition on illegal aliens voting. You can join a party. God bless America, illegal aliens in a political party. Maybe they can come up with a new political party here in the district, like the illegal alien political party, under this logic. Let's go to the next slide. And this is the proof of residence you need to show. So here's a modest restriction on at least establishing residence. But no voter ID, it's just a copy of a current utility bill, which you can get it from anywhere, really. Next. And here is their online program allowing illegal aliens to vote. They've got literally a website to help illegal aliens vote in local D.C. elections. And let's go to the next one. So these are just some closeout dates related, be sure to, if you're an illegal alien, here are the dates you need to be sure to get your voter registration in. Let's go to the next one. Not relevant here, not too much here. Same day voting. So the illegal aliens can show up on the day of the election and vote. Same day voting is an abomination if you believe in free and fair elections that have any integrity. Next up. Oh, this is what I love. They got their official non-citizen voter registration application. So there it is. The U.S. Capitol has turned over control of its government in part to foreign nationals legally and illegally present in our nation's capital. I tell you, our enemies must be looking at an opportunity there. What country would allow its foreign capital to be controlled by foreigners? What country would allow its capital to be controlled by foreigners? This capital does. And it's done with the sufferance of Congress. Now, Congress tried to overturn this. So under our Constitution, the only reason there's a D.C. council or a mayor is because Congress allows it to take place. Because under the Constitution, Congress has plenary authority over the District of Columbia. I mean, they can eliminate the D.C. council and the mayor. They can eliminate this law, and they haven't done so yet. Republicans successfully voted to overturn it, and it died in the Senate. So Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, have not made it a priority to ensure the right to vote is restricted to, or is restricted to citizens only here in our nation's capital, a place that they are specifically constitutionally responsible for in terms of its operations and governance. Now, I see just before I went on air, the House is going to consider a vote next week to restrict the vote to citizens only here in Washington, D.C. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and you can be sure that it's largely this vote's taking place thanks to Judicial Watch's disclosures this week highlighting, which was well covered online, that illegal aliens are voting here in Washington, D.C. and reminding the public of that. Now, there are other localities where illegal aliens are able to vote. There is grave concern, and concern, I think, which is justified, that the Biden administration is causing states and others dealing with illegal aliens to offer them the opportunity to register to vote repeatedly. And we're in the midst of investigating that, and that's a major concern. And we talked about last week how there was an effort to restrict or put some teeth into the law that prevents aliens from voting in our federal elections by requiring proof of citizenship to vote or to register to vote. And that was opposed, or that's being opposed. Maybe they just introduced the bill. oh wait, the bill that was passed but opposed by the left and all Democrats was a bill that restricted aliens from being counted in the census in a way that would cause the states in which they reside to get the benefit of their presence by having more representatives in Congress and more electoral college votes. The left wants to turn over political power or keep and obtain and expand political power by having aliens vote and be counted for purposes of apportionment and the distribution of congressional power. We're losing America, quite literally, right in front of our eyes. 10 million people. That's going to change the course of Congress and its representation if they're counted in the next census in a dramatic fashion. And Judicial Watch is going to expose it and try to stop it wherever we can. Wherever we can. And that's what we did here just in the District of Columbia, for example. So a lot going on. And of course, Judicial Watch has other important election integrity work. And it would be remiss of me not to remind you of it. We've got this major new lawsuit in California we filed to clean up their election rolls there. It looks like there are maybe 2 million names that at least need to clean up. We have a lawsuit in Illinois to clean up their election rolls there. We have lawsuits in Illinois and Mississippi to ensure that votes are counted on Election Day. Certainly mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day should not be counted. You have an election day, not an election week, not an election month. And of course, we're kind of pursuing this issue related to kind of this core issue of election integrity, right? Which is who gets to vote? And let me remind you, the other major election integrity issue is exposing and fighting the election interference by the Biden administration and their Democratic Party allies to jail President Trump. That's election interference in your face. It's election rigging that's happening right now. But I digress, and I could talk a long time about that. But you don't need to hear me talk about it. Maybe I'll talk about it next time again, depending on how this trial goes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.